Day, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. You can see all the water that's here. Um, let me turn on the chat over here so I can see people coming in. Hey, everybody. Welcome. So I'm coming to you live from Phoenix. So glad to be here. I'm visiting family and friends from university. I went to Arizona State University 36 years ago, and I get to visit my friends and my family. Welcome. I'm so glad. Good to see you. Hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, so, so my nephew just goes, respond to my message. Okay, Graham, I'm sorry. Welcome, everybody. So here we are. I am in the desert. Doesn't look like it, but I'm in the desert and it's beautiful right now. They've had a ton of uh, excessive heat, and now it's finally starting to cool off. But this is where I'm from. I was born and raised in Tucson, Arizona, and I went to university in Phoenix and Tempe before heading off to all different parts of the world. But since I've been traveling, some things have happened both to me personally and to people in my life, and it brought to my awareness the topic of today, which is we were made for this. You were made for this. Whatever you're going through, you were made for this. This is my message today. Whatever's happening, you were made for this. Whatever's going on in the world, you were made for this. Whatever's going on in the world, we were made for this. So I want to look at a couple of things and share with you some insights that I've had around what to do when things go apparently wrong, what to do when things seem insurmountable, what to do when there doesn't seem to be a way out. How do we move through the real challenges in life? So we have right now what's going on in the Middle East, in Palestine and Israel. We have what's going on in the Ukraine. We have what's going on our streets. We have what's going on in our political system. We have what's going on in all different parts of the world. What do we do about that? We have what's going on in our lives personally. Crying. I'm sorry. Yes. Sir Joy says, crying for a week and how to stay optimistic after people, um, were so brutally hurt in Gaza and in Israel, really, all of it. So thank you, Joy, for that reminder, Sir Joy. So that's far away from us. What about what's going on in our personal lives? What about when stuff goes wrong? I was just talking to my cousin and her daughter and she are estranged. My brother and his daughter are estranged. There's cancer with my brother-in-law. I know you guys have stuff going on in your personal life, not even far away. What do we do? What do we do? How do we respond when things seem hopeless? So, okay, big questions, and I'm going to solve it in 15 minutes. Yes. No, I'm not solving anything. That's the beautiful thing, is we don't solve anything. It's the presence of God. It is the love, beauty, intelligence. If God's too big of a word or loaded of a word, we'll call it the mind energy of the universe. That's what solves things. James, he says, keep light in our hearts. That's right. And there is a light already in our hearts. It is the light that lighteth up every man, woman, and child. It is that life force everywhere present, moving in, through, and as everything. That is the love, beauty, intelligence that's governing the universe on the smallest microscopic level up to the biggest macro level. Wherever we go, the farthest reaches of the universe, there's intelligence. There's wisdom. There's the love of God. And so let's take it down to personal life. I want to share with you recently, last Sunday, I had this bag. Actually, I have it right here. I'm so glad I have it. This little, it's not a fanny pack. It's way hipper than a fanny pack, right? But it's a little cross body bag, right? And, you use it for travel. I use it for travel. I keep my passport, my wallet, everything right here. So it's right here close, right? Well, last Saturday, I flew into LA. I flew back to LA from Tucson, Arizona, so that I could be at Agape on Sunday. Agape, my other spiritual center. Rythmia is my spiritual home. Agape is my first spiritual home. And and so here we are. I fly into LA. I have my bag. Friend picks me up at the airport. I get my luggage. We go to have a bite to eat. And I go to my Airbnb. So tired, put my stuff down and go to bed, getting ready for Agape in the morning. And I'm going to do the announcements. I get to do the announcements at Agape. So I get up the next morning. I'm going to Uber up to Agape and I'm looking and I don't have my bag. It's like, oh my God, how did I forget my bag? As my passport, my wallet has money in it, like all my identification, all my credit cards and my passport conveniently in one place. Oh my God. So I think maybe I left it in my friend's van. So I call my friend. He's like, dude, I'm surfing. My van's parked way away and I won't be able to get back to it for hours because he was a surf instructor, right? So he's a surf instructor here in Los Angeles. He won't be able to get back to it for hours. So, but I'll give you the code to get in. I go, I don't have a car. I'm Ubering around town and I got to go to Agape for the announcements. So I'm like, okay, get to Agape. I get to Agape. I talk to Reverend Coco. I say, tell her what's going on. She goes, I see it. First of all, she said, feel it in your hand. There's a mystic connection. There's an actual connection between you and your item. So feel it in your hand and create that connection and see it coming back to you. It causes all sorts of circumstances and conditions to shift. So she and I are visualizing this and she goes, I see it. It's fallen between something. It's behind something, but it's hidden, but it's there. It's fallen between something. It's hidden. That's all I can see. Okay. So I do the announcements for Agape. I leave immediately, take an Uber from the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills all the way back down to Venice to my friend's van. I get the combo. I look, I don't see it. It's not in the van. I'm like, okay, we went to this restaurant in the marina. It's open at 10:30. Great. So I Uber over to the restaurant. I asked the lady, she's like, nobody turned anything in. I'm like, can you please call the people who worked last night? Please. She goes, I can't call them. Please, it's my passport, my wallet. She texts them. They say, no, nothing was turned in. Okay. I'm like, oh my God, where is it? Did I drop it on the floor? It's not in the van. It's not at the restaurant. I go back to Agape. This is like $100 and some odd in Uber now, right? Back to Agape at the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills to get there in time to do the announcements for the next service. And then I say, I'm staying for service. I'm praying and I'm staying. Reverend Michael gives a brilliant talk, and everything he's talking about, I am trying to stay in the high vibration. Now, this whole time, I'm remembering everything is happening for me. Nothing is happening to me. There's some good. There's got to be some good here. Something seeking to emerge. What's seeking to emerge? I'm praying, and I'm seeing this bag returned to me. Either this, and what if it doesn't get returned? Okay, there's some good here. I don't know what it is. I can't see it right now, but I know there's some good. There's something here for me. Something seeking to emerge. There's no way. The universe is always for me. It's never against me. Right? I'm having to stay in this consciousness. The universe is for me. It's never against me. Everything is happening for me. There's nothing happening to me. There's a blessing here. Let me see this blessing. But my mind is going, you're fucked. You can't, you're supposed to travel to Phoenix the next day. You don't even have a driver's license. You can't get on a plane to travel domestically, more or less go back to Costa Rica. You're going to have to try and get a passport in a week, get all your credit cards replaced in a week. I'm watching my phone to see if I dropped it on the floor, on the street somewhere, getting out of a car, somebody on the street picked it up. I'm thinking the charges are going to start coming through. I don't want to cancel my credit cards and everything just yet. Spirit's like, don't cancel just yet. So I'm watching to see if there's charges coming on, and I'm sitting through Agape service and praying and just holding and just holding that, like, okay, I can't see the good. I'm freaking out right now. But Spirit, I know there's some good here. I know there's some good here. I'm staying in that vibration, staying in that, even though it was hard. It was hard because my mind just wanted to worry. My mind just wanted to freak out. all the things that could go wrong, all the like, what is this next week? Am I going to call my sister, tell her I can't come and visit in Phoenix? Blah, 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 blah. So agape service ends. It's now 1:00, and I'm standing there, and I went to pray. I went to pray for people as well, pray with people at Agape after service. I'm in this uplifted state, but also there's like two minds. There's the peace of God mind. There's the everything's going to be okay. I know all is well, and the freak out mind. Right? Both minds are always available. I'm trying to choose the one over the other, but the freak out worry mind is really powerful, especially in this situation. So a friend happens to be walking by. I'm standing there on the street going, Spirit, what do I do? What do I do? Do I go to where do I go? Do I go back to my Airbnb? Do I go take an Uber back to the restaurant? A friend comes by, says, hey, let's go have lunch. I was like, okay, let's have some lunch. Got to eat. We have lunch. And then I'm thinking, I got to get back to the marina. He ends up taking me to the marina, to the restaurant, back where I lost the bag. And I have the people at the restaurant. I asked for the security. I go back to see if like maybe the night shift, was there. Do you have the bag? Nope. I even talked to the people that actually were working. Do you remember me? The guy's like, I don't remember you. I was like, I left a really good tip. Don't you remember me? No, I don't remember you, dude. I was like, okay, well, I sat over there and I left a bag. He goes, I cleaned the lobby. I didn't find anything. Like there's a reward for it. He's like, I didn't find anything. I said, could you look at the tapes? I'm like, CIS. He's like, oh, I don't think we can do that. The manager comes up. I get the manager. She's like, maybe, well, it's Sunday and then tomorrow's Columbus Day, which is a holiday. Maybe we can get the tapes for you by Tuesday. I'm like, my wallet, my passport, everything. So she ends up going back and rolling the tapes. CSI Marina Del Rey rolls the tapes and sees me pick up my bag, leaving the restaurant the night before, and walk out. So the bag wasn't left at the restaurant. Holy shit, where is it now? I'm freaking out. My friend gets back from giving us surf lessons and he calls me. He says, man, I found your bag. It had fallen behind the seat in his van, and there was another box up against it, and I couldn't see it because the bag was black and it was dark when I went to go look, and it was there. What an amazing, amazing feeling of relief. But the point is that at any one of those moments, we could have had a different thought. So there's a microcosm of what happens individually when things go awry, when it doesn't seem like, I had to be thinking, even if I can't find the bag, if the bag's gone, I knew that everything was going to be okay. Ultimately, everything is going to be okay. It might be a pain in the ass but I'm going to get through this. And I had to anchor in that to keep calm because my mind didn't want to sit in agape. My mind didn't want to sit there and be in prayer while I was worried about my bag. Now, how do we expand this out? We were made for this. We were made for the trials and tribulations of our life. Because how do we expand this out for world situation or political situations? How do we expand this out for for the things that are going on in our life on a bigger family level? How do we stay in the truth that everything's working together for our good, that everything is unfolding in divine perfection when it sure as heck doesn't seem like anything is happening that's good or anything that's unfolding in divine perfection? When I'm taking a hike yesterday at Pinnacle Peak and I see all the sick Saguaros who are dying from climate change, when I look at what's happening in the Ukraine, when I look at what's happening in Palestine and Israel, how do you handle all this? We have to know that no matter what the circumstances and conditions are, no matter how fixed those circumstances and conditions seem to be, we have to hold the higher watch. We have to know, we have to bring the light into the darkest of circumstance, no matter what the appearances are. That's what we are made for. That's the point of this talk. We're made for this part too. We're made to bring the light even when there doesn't appear to be any possibility. Because if we don't see the possibility, there won't be any possibility. We have to hold to that. We have to hold to potential and possibility, potentiality and possibility. Infinite potentiality and infinite possibility exist always in every moment because that is the nature of the universe, even when we, from our limited perspective, can't see it. That's what we have to do in our personal lives. That's what I have to do with my brother and his daughter, with my cousin and her daughter. They're not talking. I have to see possibility even when it seems impossible. They're not talking to each other. I have to see possibility when it seems impossible. My bag isn't anywhere. That's not on the tape. It's not in the van. I've looked everywhere. We have to hold that possibility when it seems impossible. Hundreds of years, thousands of years of war and conflict in the Middle East. We have to bring the light. We have to hold it. What's going on in the Ukraine? That's not a recent controversy. That's also generations old. What's happening? We have to hold the light. We have to bring the light into the darkest of times. That's what we're made for. That's who we are. And we have to know that in spite of circumstance and conditions, infinite possibility and potential exist. How do we do that? It's by constantly holding ourselves in that. It's like a constant choosing, moment by moment, breath by breath. On the micro level, for this in my life with the bag, there was the crazy freak out worry mind, and there was the I know everything's going to be okay peace of God mind. Both are there. We have them both. One is crazy, ludicrous, illusion, no peace, no calm. The other is always calm, always peace. Which mind are we choosing? We get to choose in the moment. And it's not easy, but it's completely possible. It's not easy, and we can do it with practice. So we practice each moment. When things seem impossible, we practice to look I can't see the possibility here, but I know it's here. Let me see it. I can't see the potential here, but I know it's here. I can't see the way out here, but I know it's here. I know it's here. Let me see it. Let me see it. This is what we were made for. This is why we were made, to bring the light into the darkest of times. And we have to do it moment by moment, breath by breath. This is our job. And we do it even when it's impossible to see. We must do it. We must do it. It is, Andy says it's daily work. It is daily work, 100% daily work. We've got to do it moment by moment, breath by breath, even for ourselves, because there'll be that moment when you're sick or I'm sick and it doesn't seem possible. We have to know, even in the darkest of times, something wonderful is happening. Even when it seems impossible, something miraculous is happening. That's our job, to bring the light into the seemingly darkest of times. It doesn't mean that the outcome's going to be rosy all the time. It means that no matter what the outcome is, we stay in the light. No matter what the circumstance or condition is, we know there's a higher purpose. We know there's a higher good. We might not be able to see it. We might not be able to see the blessing in it right now, but I know there's a blessing. I might not be able to see the lesson in it right now, but I know there's a lesson. That's a quantum shift from the victim mentality of, why is this happening to me? I'm helpless. The question then becomes, what's the lesson? What's the blessing? Let me see it. What's the blessing? Let me see it. I know it's here. Can't see it. There's the peace of God here. Let me choose that instead of my worrying mind. Because I know underneath all this crap, there's a pony. I know underneath all this division, all this sorrow, there's some good here. I know it's here. Let me see it. Okay. So this is this is the talk. That's the talk today. Thank you so much for joining. We were made for this. We were made to bring the light into the darkest of times. It's a daily practice. It's a moment by moment practice. It's having faith. And faith is believing in something more than what the five senses can tell us. So the five senses are telling us everything's going to hell in a handbasket, or things are going to shit, or the wheels are falling off at the hinges. We have to have faith that something wonderful is happening, that there's something miraculous is happening, that we live in an age of normalized and stabilized miracles. That is our job, to bring the light into the darkest of times. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings. I'll see you next week. I'll be back in Costa Rica on our next Instagram and Facebook and YouTube Live. Blessings, blessings, blessings.